You're listening. You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Aloha. Gaia Sophia Dreaming with Mike here. Thank you for tuning in with the heart. Much love. Much thanks. We're 4 a.m. here in the Hawaii Dreamtime. And my feeling is soon these numbers and directions we use will be only reference points in a way, instead of the typical, to put it politely, guiding posts. Instead of ruling our life like the clock, it will be something we can guide ourselves by. For example, it's earlier in the morning, later in the day, deeper in the night. And these are better ways to actually describe our day. Fluctuates. You have things like daylight savings. So in this perception, the sun isn't always coming up at the same time. It's rising a little bit earlier and a little bit earlier. And you've heard the scientific reasons to explain this. And, well, I'm realizing that's a whole bunch of crap, bullshit, and I'm calling it as it is. And then we have to look at things like, hey, Mike, wasn't everything pretty much upside down and backwards the way they presented the information? Yeah, that's what we come to realize. And you could blame the system or whatever authority for lying to you. You could recognize it as the lie shining. Well, the lie wasn't shining, but you recognize the line so you could see the truth. Give the contrast. If you weren't turning into the truth, maybe you might have to see the contrast to be able to come back to the truth. And so that's the beauty of it. There's your power. You didn't give it away. As you're not an effect. You're recognizing, oh, what is this effect here? How was I the cause to that effect so I can continue to be the cause, to sit in my co-creative nature here, to be in my co-creative nature. Otherwise, we're always like, look what they did to me this time. What's happened to me again? You. That's what happened to you. Yourself. And to wake up to this knowledge, well, I'm laughing because this is what's happening with me. And I recognize I'm not someone special than another. So if it's happening with me, what I realize is that it's happening with everyone. That's what you remember when all is self. That it isn't just your, let's say this clear, your perspective of things or your opinion of the matter. You move beyond that. You move beyond that limiting paradigm, that way, limited perspective field of seeing things, just from your point of view, so to say. Now, when you tune into the heart, quite naturally you tune into other points of view, other perceptions of reality and actuality. And when you do that, well, your eyes just open more, your ears open more. It's just like your whole being is resonating with the truth, the love, your heart, your core, your center. And when it resonates from there, well, that just opens everything up. Opens up the mind, opens up the world. And many times we were trying to figure it out with the mind. How do we clear this mind to open up this world? Well, you had to go deep in the well again, to the heart. When you clear the space around the heart, which was kind of filled with fear, cleared that space around there and you tune back in the heart, you're like, yes. And when you come back from here, this resonance from here, this clears the mind. This clears you of the dualistic thinking, the old limiting platform, belief systems and thought patterns, however you like to, you want to express that. But it clears that. How does it clear it? Well, you're tuned into the heart, so you're not catching that distortion, the limiting thoughts. You're not tuning into those. Because you're tuned into a more stronger frequency now, which is your heart. And that frequency is being amplified, so it's easier to tune in with. The more you recognize the beauty, the truth, tune into it, you accept it. You accept it because it resonates with you. And you remember love because it just comes quite naturally. Fear gone, you just, oh, this is all love. Yeah. Because you're not hanging in the clouds of fear anymore. You're swimming in the fields of love. And I'm very thankful. So aloha all. The number to call in, 347-326-9530. Heart lines are always open. Anyone else to chime in, please feel free to do. Aloha. So I got the ocean. I don't know if you can hear the ocean here. If it's quiet enough here, it should be. Nice. I don't even want to call it background noise. It's because it's not noise, and it's, in a way, I hear it coming from that direction. And when you can relax, just, in a way, just let things go, almost the sound comes louder. You tune in clearer with it, and it does come louder, actually. And it's no longer over there. You recognize it's tuning into nature all around you. And the sound, it basically transcends directions, and it becomes, in a way, omnidirectional. It becomes, it's in your field. It is in a sense of where is this coming from? Because this idea of separation is gone. It's pretty much an idea. We can talk about, well, we went through this part of the cosmos, and the light wasn't here. We went through this, and many different ways it's been shared and explained. And well, what's coming clearer now is that old, it's even hard to describe now for me in some moments, because it doesn't have my attention anymore. It doesn't have my focus. And I'm looking into the actuality, and I'm focusing on that, and that old world really doesn't have any credence with me that much anymore. And so in some ways, I'm even losing, as I gain the words to explain or to share about it, I'm losing the words to share about it. And I'm realizing that right now, and it's quite funny. Because as we tune into as some people call it, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, we're no longer in a polarized viewpoints. We're no longer seeing things dualistically. And so as we're no longer seeing things dualistically, we're not going to describe things dualistically. And so that's why, in some ways, it's funny to me that as I'm trying to describe the old system, I'm lacking the words that we used to, not lacking, but the words that we used to describe them are no longer there. either, because all is self. We're no longer putting that also outside of ourselves in terms of a negative entity bent on destroying me that needs to be eradicated from the universe. Even that, I don't see it as outside of myself. Well, Mike, it needs to go back to the galactic core for recycling. Sure, I can agree with this, but it's still not outside of myself. And like that, I don't have, what would you call, hate or animosity. It's love. I have love. I'm like, great. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that energy needs to be purified. Purify it. What's that going to bother me? But Mike, it's an entity. It's a living being, and it needs to be purified. What? You're attached to its personality? I mean, seriously. You're that so much attached to your own personality? What you think is you? What you think is you? It can't go through a little purification, through a little cleansing? How big is your ego? I don't even think your ego's that big, man. It's something else in a way. Comes a point in time where your ego, your shadow, all of this is like, yeah, man, I've had enough of this game also. Please. Tune into your heart. Tune in with your heart. And your ego thanks you. All these, what you thought were separate parts of you, start thanking you. Because in a conscious way, they don't want to go against you. They're part of you. So why would they want to go against you? When you get really tuned in and you feel this, and you start to feel things shift, you move out of that limited perspective, and you realize, like, well, why did my body break down or whatever? It's not like it wanted to break down. It's basically we gave it the order to break down. Here's some crap. Here's some bullshit. I'm going to, whether I take it in with my eyes, literally take it in and eat it, different ways, it breaks down tunes us out of our frequency in the heart, so to say. And with that, my body, start blaming our body, start blaming our ego. And my ego was like, you fed me that crap. What do you mean? You gave me the fear. And now I'm talking like almost like, I kind of find it funny, different parts of myself talking, but kind of bringing into simplicity and some clarity here. It's kind of like that. And just as we blame the outside authority figure, person we gave authority to, or entity or being we gave authority to in this experience we went through to learn, we blame. We blame our body, we blame our genes, we blame this, we blame whatever it might be, inside, outside, and that's come to an end. Mike, but we're still doing it. Well, we're stopping still doing it. So we might still so-called trip, stumble, and fall or hiccup, but we are reminding ourselves to stop those old patterns when we recognize them and become aware of them. Oh, let's stop that because it's come to an end. The power is with us to stop it. There's no perpetual energy running those old limiting thought forms and belief systems. Perpetual energy source is, your heart, yourself. And this is what we're tuning into. And as this comes clearer and clearer, as we move back into ourselves, we can see how to blame an outside source, or to blame ourselves even. I'm stupid, I'm this, or I'm that, I'm not smart enough, I didn't. Whatever it, again, devaluing your own self-worth, and we could just wallow in that pity, or we can recognize that when it gets, the more I might wallow, and to go, oh, is me, and then woe is me. Why it's getting louder is because it's like, do you hear yourself? No. And then you do it louder, and again, the little voice says, do you hear yourself now? Oh, yeah, I was doing that. Yes, you are. Sweet thing. And that's what it is. It's like your lessons get harder. And you're like, no, system, no, there it goes. No, the lesson's getting harder because you're making it harder for yourself, and the system's just playing that role for you. Or someone's just playing that role for you because you're making it harder for yourself. And then there's somebody stepping in to fill that role for you to bring you that contrast. Not to blame them. to tune back into the self and recognize this. And this is where we're at. So aloha. We got 301-530. I think it's Barbara and Janet. If you'd like to chime in, please do.
Aloha, Mike.
Hey, is this Michael?
Yes. You are,
hey.
Man, wow. I'd love to tune in just to listen.
We're doing it together.
Say, did you, I don't know, Kate talks a lot about movies and the messages in the movies. My wife and I went to see the movie Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier last night. Oh, my gosh. That thing was absolutely loaded. I mean, from stem to stern. I got to watch it again because I was in there and, paying attention to the theater, and, I couldn't write, and I didn't have anything to write with, didn't write anything down, but I got to watch that again. I mean, it's like trust no one. It was, the bulletproof was there. I had some of them on my mind, but I just, an allegory after allegory after allegory after allegory. I mean, it's like the movie was made talking to me, and I realized that he is everyone. But it's like everything was there. It's just, the awakening, people's awakening. There was one point where the antagonist said, do you really want your secrets to come out? And it's like, are you willing to stand to that point, to where your secrets will come out? Or do you really want that? Are you willing to go that far? And it's like, just over and over and over again, everything in it is just like, oh my gosh. It was so enjoyable to watch a movie like that and see all that.
It's laying it out there for you. This is the beauty of our reality. The actuality, that it's actually coming from any which way you look now. You want to look in the TV? Well, it will show you the contrast or show you the beauty, whatever it needs to be. It's showing you what's funny is even in the lies, it's showing us the truth. We're not getting caught in the lies anymore. We're seeing the lies for the contrast that it's providing us. We're not buying the lie anymore. We're going, oh, that's what that is. And then we're turning our head in a way to look at the truth. Actually, it's just as soon as you see the lie, you don't even have to turn left or right anymore. You just kind of pan back in a way or open your eyes a little bit more because the truth is everywhere else. It's like the air in a way. And we went into these little false paradigms of lies and blew them up to like, oh, this is what it is. And now those are collapsing on themselves. And the truth is staring everyone in the face.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful when you watch it like that. And you're looking for them. And it's like Kate says, you're looking for it, and it's everywhere. It's like everywhere you turn. It's just like every time the screen shifts or the scene changes, it's here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. So beautiful.
And when we recognize that is the nature of everything we're living in here. Everything we live here has that message for you. All of it is, at least in one perspective, a reflection of yourself.
Absolutely.
And so like that message is always being shared with you. And then in many different ways. And so it's just like, what? And in different ways, we say God, nature, supreme being, self, is always sharing with you. And this has been passed along to us for, well, we'll just call it a long time now. And sometimes I don't even like to reflect back that far. I'm like, well, let's just talk about my so-called immediate, my immediate life this time, now. Like, it's definitely doing it now. I don't have to go back to way back when to go, they reminded us there. They're reminding us now. You're reminding yourself now. Everyone's reminding you now. That's kind of the beauty of that we're doing this for each other. And now we're doing it, what's coming clear, we're doing it without playing roles. We're doing it with coming into our true, authentic selves, our heart, soul expressions. This is what we're sharing now, more and more with each other. This is what naturally we're going to do, because we'll take that mask, we'll be gone. We won't need to play that role, different roles for each other, and a way to wake up, to see ourselves, to move out of that separation mindset. And when we no longer have to, when we no longer are in that separation mindset, of course no one's going to play a false role, so to say. They don't have to give you a false identity to assist you in a lesson. They won't. It's just natural. And this is what's here for us. And so when I look at the world, I'm like, yep, no more businessmen, policemen, firemen. Well, I don't even want to draw the lines at that, because generally there is no lines there. It's like I'm saying, it doesn't matter what role the person was playing, because then we're judging, well, you had this job, so you were worse than that guy over there. He only had that job. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm like, doesn't quite make sense to me now. Before it would, he's a better person than that person. I'm like, no, man, it's all in the same old paradigm. Let's just come out of it and not judge who played what role, and that, again, who played what role that they gave up. They're not doing it anymore, or they won't be doing it anymore. So what, I'm going to hold them, hold it against them? You're a being of love, but you were a bastard before, and now I'm going to hold... No, we're out of that old way of thinking and feeling. And it's wonderful. I mean, you could try it. Go ahead. I mean, to test this. And this is what's great with me. I recognize it. It's like, getting tested again. And even sometimes I don't even like to use this word test. I'm having this experience again to remind me more clearly of this. And that way, you're not looking at the universe as, why are you always testing me? I got more lessons to learn. Let's just make it easier. We have some experiences to shine more light on ourselves.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'm seeing it more and more and more and more and more and more. It's just like, I guess you go through the stages of waking up, but it's, wow, it's just more and more beautiful. It's like, I can't get enough. It's like, it's so wonderful, and it's like you want to experience it and be it fully, so that it spreads in the consciousness, so that everyone is able to participate. It's like, that's that thing of, letting go of all those labels and all those roles and all that, and just being the giver and, giving and being that, which, having that dream of light that, maybe could we say that the original creator, whatever universe, had an original dream of light, that all these living things are around us, and, can we have our own dream, and can that dream be a part of that dream of life, and, can we focus on those things, and wow, when we start seeing that dream, and like we say, that's what we're creating. So why are we focusing, or why do we still see people as separate? Why do we still see them as roles? Why do we still see that? Yeah, I love what you say when you talk like that. It's like, it's just so beautiful, because it's all that's necessary. Just get back to what we are, and creator expressing and sharing and giving. And when we do that, it's hard for someone else to see that and not respond. How can they help respond? That's almost like that same thing with the bulletproof. It's like, yeah, they have no choice. They can't. You don't give them the name. You don't play that game. You're not. You break those spiritual contracts. They can't come at you. But also, they can't resist the kind of love that's flowing when you live in that. It's like that. The power of that love is just an overwhelming tide. Even if it doesn't bring fruit at that moment, it plants that seed or waters it. The seed that's been planted in. Wow, so beautiful. So beautiful.
It reminded me of a story, this experience I had once, and I was responsible for something, and I wasn't quite responsible as I could have been. But the way it shook out, the blame fell on me heavy. And I was just like, okay, I accept this responsibility. What do I need to do to replace this or make it right? It wasn't like I was saying, no, it wasn't me. I was wrong. I wasn't wrong. I recognized, well, I could have been more responsible, and that wouldn't have happened. And so I was in a very heavy situation. And it was a point where, and this wasn't in this country, this is a third world country, this is in India. There was a point where, the beat down and jail and whatnot, all was materializing in front of me. And I was just like, wow. And I'm looking at the thing that it was about. I was watching someone's place, and some local or the workers on the building site stole some stuff. So I was responsible for them stealing. And it became like I stole. And I was just like, I didn't steal it, but I'm responsible to let that it happened on my watch. But it transcended it. And here I am watching these people I knew. Like a few of these were close friends. Some of them weren't. And they are giving it to me. And I'm like, wow. And no one was around me at that moment who could come and extract me. Or come by and recognize. Like, wait a second, what's just happening to Mike here? And so I was pretty much left to myself. Like, how am I going to get out of this? I can't get a word out to anyone. These people have lost it, and they've thought I've lost it. And I'm like, you would never do this to anybody before, and you're doing it to me. And so in this moment, I remembered something. And I said, Michael, I'm talking to myself. I said, Michael, give them the namaste, give them the namaskar. Put your hands together, put them to your heart, recognize this, connect their heart, man. Connect their heart to the higher self, and you connect your heart with your higher self right now. And as I'm doing this, I bring my hands to my chest. You know what I mean? They are screaming at me. You can't do that. Don't do that to, don't do that. We don't want that, like, whatever, being peace and love at the moment. And they weren't close enough to physically stop me. So I brought my hands to my heart, and I brought them up, and they, screamed, and I stopped, but I did it. Within 5 minutes, I walked out that door. Didn't have to say another word. I watched the whole thing change, like friggin' demons left the room. And I watched these guys, and I went, wow. And I watched them in a way come back to themselves. And I was just like, if I was a bastard, I'd beat the shit out of all of you right now for what you just almost put me in. But I didn't. I just was like, okay, Mike, that's your lesson for you. All right. You know, I wasn't going to do a tango with those guys again. But I didn't like hate them or judge them harshly. I just went, wow, man, that was close, Mike. Look, and some of those people were like, yeah, I wouldn't trust them, but a couple of them I did trust. And I went, wow, those really loving people that I know, they can even flip in that moment. So again, I didn't make it a personal like it upset me because I was recognizing on their own individual, unique path in a way that they had something to work out, right? I mean, if you can do that to me in a way and then recognize when you got clear that, oh, man, my bad, I was just like, oh, yeah, you're bad. You're about to put me in the hooskow and get me beaten. From something you realize I was actually being responsible for. It's just that I could have been a little bit better. And so that, wow. And I was just like, what their lesson was, I don't know. It was theirs. If they wanted to share it with me, they did. I didn't ask. But mine was that. I was just like, wow, I could have been better, Mike. I recognize, tune into my power, don't be, tune into my center, don't be an effect at the others. And as I shared, I watched it as soon as I remembered to do that. It just cleared the air, man. And I was very thankful. But the story was to bring it back to self. Again, I could have got caught in the drama and blamed everyone there. And I brought it back to me. And I went, okay, what's my message here? And what's my message to get the fuck out of here? Because this is not where I want to be right now. And I've watched it happen. And this is what I mean when I say tune into your heart, connect your mind, and you will watch what we call miracles happen. And then you're going to realize, you're going to go, they're not even miracles. It transcends even the word that we normally associate as a miracle. Like, wow, how did that happen? It's a miracle. No, I connected my heart with my mind and my whole being. And so what I'm saying, it isn't going to be a miracle anymore. It's the way. It's a miracle because it's just like, we forgot that that's how we do things. That when we come from the heart and tune in things, there's no limitation. So when we have no limitation, it's so fresh to us in a way, it's a miracle. And then you realize, oh, wow, this is our natural ability.
What limitations?
Exactly. In that we've only been playing this game for a while. This hasn't been we ain't always been like this.
The new game is to explore all of these wonderful, non-limitations. It's like, where can I take this? What can I do with this? What can I find to explore so that I can share it with someone else, and with the all, because thank you, Michael, for that example, and thank you for making that choice in that moment, because, it's like, I'm reminded of a little, and it's one of those cliched type sayings, I guess, and, when I first got, kind of got toward this path, and it really stuck with me, and I think it came from, where I picked it up was from Wayne Dyer, but it's like when you take, if something is facing you and you put the blame somewhere else, you can't do anything about it because you can't change anybody else. You can't control what they do. But when you accept responsibility, whether or not, like you said, whether or not you were actually responsible, but when you accept responsibility, that's when you can bring something to it. You can change how you're reacting or what you're doing or what you're, like you said, connect your heart and in that moment find that peace and give that grace, to whatever it is, however we can describe it. I'm inadequate at describing it, but you can't do that when you're blaming someone else or when it's someone else's problem, because you can't do anything about anyone else but yourself. But that's the beauty of it. When you do it, when you take the responsibility and you do it for yourself, guess what? It changes for everyone. It's like it changes the whole situation, changes the consciousness.
And in that, what is a little bit of a catch there is that, like I was saying, the response to my action was so blown out of proportion in my opinion. I was just like, man, this is the only thing that happened. Some things got stolen or missing even. I think it got returned. But that's kind of beside the point. And what I'm trying to say is, for me, which was like, well, man, whatever was missing, I'll replace it or pay the money or whatever. And I know I was a, jerk for letting it happen. But I'm stepping up to own responsibility. I wasn't shirking from it. And so to get the reaction that I got back, I was just like, this is something bigger, Michael. This is what we talked about, how you'll have something small, and then here comes the deep shadow that you had hidden arising. And you can then again blame someone else or recognize, nope, they got their own. This is for me. I can say, oh, it was because of this story that just happened. Nope, this is deeper. This is some deeper spiritual stuff, man. And I'm telling you, that was some heaviness that I was in. So it really, like, these people in the room I was with, they were like meat pips, like they were like puppets in this world. They were being controlled. And whether it was they were being controlled by their own darker aspect or some other being in that moment, because they were so tuned into the negative emotional field in a way, that we can sometimes look at people when you go, wow, those actions aren't their own. It's like when you get angry, and this is probably why I'm bringing this up, because I still have this tendency in me, this kind of fire where I'll express it in a way that could still cause harm to another, I feel. And I want to clear this field from me. And so in that moment back there, what I was reminded of now is there was some deep shadow work at play there. There was something that came up and I cleared it, and because I didn't blame another, I passed. That energy was dispersed, however you want to say it. The shadow was no more. The shadow was no more, and like I said, I could, if it's because I accepted that responsibility. And you're like, did I accept the responsibility or the experience that triggered it? Yes, I accepted that responsibility, which led me to the deeper responsibility that I had hidden. And that was in that moment, Mike, connect with people's hearts, recognize their higher self is here, even though they might not be connected. Connect that heart and higher self with yourself, recognize that in everyone else. And I just watched that whole, situation, experience change. So this is how we do it. Not just that one-off experience I had back there, and it wasn't a one-off, but that particular one. We're getting these on a daily basis in certain strengths and weaknesses in a way. It could be, depending on how tuned in we feel, how much accepting we are of the truth. If we're not, well, the drama might get a little more intensified. And then the more it gets intensified, the tendency is to blame it instead of coming back to the self and accepting what is. And like, oh yeah, I don't have to play that drama. Why do I want to do that? That's not fun. But that's the way it goes, and then it gets more externalized and more externalized, and the more it gets externalized, the more you forget to bring it back to you. And so sometimes it has to get so big because it's like, I can't, that's the direction it goes if we want to give it a direction, right? It doesn't get, it's just, you're just pumping it more of hot air. If you can look at it, if you got a problem, say, if you want to, we'll bring it to Jupiter. And we'll call this our, well, everything's male, female in a way, but where we see in the polarity, we'll call it a male or masculine left brain ego imbalance. Well, ego can be left or right, male, female. But just for clarity here, so we're pumping Jupiter up. Yeah, why is Jupiter always male? Because we don't see, if we see ourselves as need or as both, we see the sun as both, well, let's see the planets as both. And we're pumping it full of hot air, people here. We're pumping it full of hot air, and it's getting bigger and bigger in here. It's like, you're still not listening. You're just pumping that balloon up even more of hot air. It's not saying it's wanting it. It's just the way it is. And then that balloon gets so big, and then you think it's a monster. Look at this monster, man. It's so big. It's so hot. It's giving off this thing, and it's just all these nasty thoughts connected to it, you know. And you're like, wow. And, well, it's because you were pumping it up full of hot air all this time, and it's just waiting for you in a way to give it a pinprick or just open out that, you know, the end or the opening. You were filling it with this bullshit, basically. You were filling it with bullshit, and now you're letting it out like a fart. Seriously, it's this interconnected. And that just wind just passes through you. It just releases out of Jupiter. It releases all that left brain monkey chatter, polarized view of actuality, and it just goes. And then you're like looking again, you're like, wow, you ain't this big scary monster. And it's just like, yeah, I know. But if you keep filling me up with bullshit, that's the role I got to play to kind of wake you up, help assist in waking you up. You know, look at your organ. If your organ starts swelling, right, you need to give it some love and attention in a positive, well, in a loving way. And if that means taking some medicine in any shape or form, or, you know, using your own innate healing abilities. But we assign and ascribe these powers outside of ourselves, and I'm like, no, man, what you think is some big bad wolf is only playing a big bad wolf for you. But is it the big bad wolf for everyone? No, actually. Because you got Jupiter inside you just like I got Jupiter inside you. I'm letting that hot air out of me, that, you know, that bullshit that the ego attached to. I'm letting that hot air out. Yours still might be a little swollen, you know, a little more full of hot air. So we're not necessarily looking at the same planet in the sky that they tell you it's this one shape, it's this one size, and it's always like this. Bullshit. And so when you see this intimate relationship with things, intimate relationship with all, you're not pumping whatever it may be, a person, a planet, a thing. You're not filling its ego up to make it seem bigger than it is. Because you weren't recognizing a part of yourself, so that was the effect. You caused that effect to now do this for you to recognize yourself.
Exactly.
And why I'm reminding you, I'm trying to share with you that what you thought you were at effect to or had power over you, really innately it doesn't. It actually works with you. When you stop blaming it, you recognize the role it was playing for you, with you. And then we stop playing that game with ourselves and each other. And we realize, and that game we stop playing with each other, well, that's the one where he says causes harm. That, you'll see it on so many different things. May cause harm. This product may cause harm. This pill may cause harm. Everything you freaking consume, they stick a lip, may cause harm. And believe me, if it's got a company or corporation, they got some line, we are absolved of anything from our product that may cause harm.
Exactly.
You can play behind a corporate entity. And even a corporate entity, you can't absolve yourself of this. Any being, anything, any it, you're not absolved of causing harm because you wrote down or you even said that bullshit.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that you can that the action happens and you can, excuse me, be responsible and stop that action and go, I'm choosing consciously, wholeheartedly to stop those actions. And if they happen again, it isn't, oh, well, it's, Michael, it's a choice. If this happens again, do you want to do it? Nope. I'm not now saying from that point on it's not going to happen again, but your baseline reality is it's not your wish. It's not your dream. It's not what you're asking for. Now there is some things we are clearing, and they still come up, and we still may cause harm to another being because we're still, in a way, not quite at ease with ourselves. And my feeling is this is coming to an end. We're looking at this. This is coming to the surface. This is beautiful. The shadow, the hidden recesses of the mind, everything's coming out to be really experienced in truth and love.
Right on.
And I'm very thankful.
Mike, I got to say, I appreciate your honesty a while ago saying, that things still come up for you, that you still, experience things. And that's a big part of, being open and allowing this things, the universe to show us, or our cab driver. It's like you expressed it pretty well there, where it reminded of a story that Colleen said and some stories that Steve Richards talks about, where when things are coming up at us, when we just accept them, it's like we move right past them. It's when we fight them and when we resist it and say, no, that's not me. I don't do that. I would never do that. And we say, you've got me wrong, and I'm not prepared for this, or I'm not ready for that, or no. It's like the more we fight it, the more it stays there. But it's like because we're not receiving or learning that lesson or accepting responsibility and moving past it. And it's like once you move past that, it seems you don't have to have that lesson again. Now you're on to the next one, or the next clearing, that next thing, that deep, dark thing, that belief that you've been hanging on to, or that thing that you got taught or that was, presented to you that you accepted at some point in your life, but you're able to move to the next one. And you pointed that out. It's like you get that one little thing out, and then the deeper one comes up, that's attached to it. And it's like, okay, well, all right, well, let's try this one on for size. But, you described that very well. I'm butchering it here, but beautiful picture, beautiful illustration. Thank you for that, and thank you for your honesty. And, that is what this is about, is, getting that clearing and getting back to being who we are and having fun. Let's have fun in this game.
See, here's the
get
thing.
Rid of all
yeah. You beautifully clearly expressed, Michael, yes. And as you said, so we're fishing, right? And we catch a little fish, as you just described, and oh, look, there was a deeper one attached to it. You ever seen this? And now imagine you're fishing. You'll see it. Like, you'll see you have a fish, and then there's like another fish, bigger one, coming up from the bottom to get the one you got. And so this is the same with this, what we were just describing and what we're both describing here. And what will happen is we'll feel that big one coming up, so to say, that one rising to the surface to be cleared. Like you said, let's not call it some deep dark. It's whatever. There's different ways to express it. Just don't attach fear to it. But we attach fear back to it. Oh, no, get back down there. And how we do it is we'll make a drama out of the small fish. Look at how big this fish is. No, it's only a little tiny. The big fish was the one that was just coming up that was being cleared. That one. That's what this is about, that one. Not this little fish we just caught. It's about that one. And we keep doing this with the little one, and I'm like, that was just a trigger.
Yes.
The story about I can't log on to my computer. The story ain't about the dishes ain't done. The story isn't about why'd you leave that trash on the floor. Something bigger, shadow, deeper, whatever we've been recognizing to call this, comes up. It's take that piece of paper on the floor and give your attention to this old fear that's wanting to be released, that's stuck to this old paradigm, and it's just like
this old false evidence appearing real. Let's get rid of it.
You give it your love, and you're not in the drama of the look at how big this fish is. No, it ain't. It's small. Nope, you just moved right past that, and here comes this other one, and you just now can look at it. There's no even actually analyzing this one. This is what's so. I'm like, guys, you realize how close this is? If you just shift it, because you don't even have to. There's nothing to figure out with this one. You've already done it. Now it's just finally coming to say goodbye in a way. This energy no longer serves you.
Hasta la vista, baby.
But but what we end up doing is, look at my big fish. No, it's only a little. Look at how big it is. This is your ego now, fucking playing the game, making something, blowing it way out of proportions, like we were saying. Look at how big Jupiter is. Look at how big your ego is now. However, whatever hot air bag you want to describe yourself, your head. And so it's like that, and it's just, and I've tried, and this is what I'm doing. This is what I got to do in my own thing, and this is what I was talking about when my anger arises over certain things, and I'm like, this ain't necessary, Mike. This is, you gotta pop that balloon that you got right here and let that energy just dissipate and love it on its way. Thank you so much. Like you said, hasta la vista, baby. And that's it, and you just feel the tension release from your shoulders. You know, they're no longer attached to those. It's not even a question of attachment anymore. It's like when you release it, in a way, if you can imagine now, as that shadow came up, that old fear came up to not to make a story for you, not to make a drama. It actually came up like a burp for you to just, let it out and just thank it, Thank you. Go back to swimming with the fishes. And that sigh of relief. And we think it's this big, dark thing. And I'm like, well, there might be some whatever heavy stuff in your experiences. My feeling is we have done a lot of processing, if you want to call it, as individuals, species, planet. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a lot of these heavy experiences. We're not having these heavy experiences because we got a lot more things to learn or things to do. It's we're processing a lot of old residual shit, and we're letting it out. And people are waking up to the fact to just let it out, but really walk away from it. Instead, some people are still remembering the external authority game that they've been experiencing. Otherwise, I just don't see it. I mean, I really see money, politics, religion, business, all of that gone. It doesn't actually exist here anymore in the actuality. It doesn't in the heart. It just does not resonate, does not tune in. It's an old frequency of separation and fear that's really not here. And you can play the game of the big bad wolf or whatever, but when we said game over, it's game over. I don't mean, it's still running. No, I'm putting the responsibility right back on each and every one of us. You're playing, in a way, an old holographic movie into the reality, and we're still, in a way, operating it on the collective. There is nothing. What is connected is nature. What is connected is our hearts. When we look at that old dead fictional reality and thinking that was some homogenous, controlled, you know what I mean, like centralized system. No, it isn't. It wasn't. That thing was pure and utter chaos coming out in every way and form. And we call it the control system, but it was to control through chaos. You want to talk about natural control? I mean, I'll bring up the slide, but there's a nice flow the way this goes. When things are in harmony with natural law and being, that's when we talk about and resonating with the truth. There's, if you want to talk about controlled society, and maybe I'm getting this, that's order. This is what I'm getting. That's natural order. That's the natural way and flow. And this ain't order as in you're taking orders. This is order as in way, the natural way. That's the way of harmony. When we talk about control system, we use the word control, but there isn't really a centralized control in terms of, like I was sharing, one order. It was just multitudes of chaotic orders, because it didn't make sense. This is what I'm getting. True order makes sense. Natural order makes sense. So in this control system, that, we talk New World Order, they ain't got anything in order. They got the dead fictional reality, and there was no order about that. That's why you couldn't really put your finger on it, because they're that freaking confused. They're points of us that are confused, thinking they have some sense of order. No. And then we believe that, the government knows what they're doing. They're ordering us around. They must know what they're doing. No, they don't have a fucking clue. They're pretending that role, playing that role like they are, but they ain't.
That's it. You said they're confused. That's why they need orders from somebody above them that they think knows something, but
and
that person is just as confused.
Exactly. And this is the whole business world. This is the whole economic system. We play slave upon slave upon slave until you get to the whore of Babylon.
That's
and I'm
right.
like, the whole fucking mindset there is just slave mentality, guys. You can try and blow it up to what it is, and I'm just saying that's just one perspective for me. Does it cloud a lot of the so-called reality? Yeah, but I can, for me at least, so-called condense or refine that to one frequency and go, that's just one frequency band that we play that game in. That shine light on me to the others. I was just go, oh, that's where that's boom, another chaotic order. Another chaotic order. That's freaking oxymoron. But and so yeah, we surfed all those lines back. You know what I mean? All those chaotic, because there was no, like I said, there was no making sense out of that confusion. The control system was not freaking ordered. It was so much confusion and people thinking that it's ordered. Yeah. That God entity's got his act together. No, it fucking don't, man. That was the friggin' beauty of it, actually. It's because it didn't have any rhyme or reason to try and finally figure it out. Man, you really had to think outside the box to get a grasp on reality, friggin' tonk and look in and go, okay, this is what it is. And then you don't have fear anymore. You don't look at the whore of Babylon and any of these other beings as above you or even below you that they can mess with you. You just don't. Like, thank you, bye. If you still want to play that role of causing harm, freedom life, see you later. Adios, it's somewhere else now, not here. People are like, what? Yeah, it's as easy as that. If there's a part of you attached to doing that also, you have the same power to go with it, wherever that may be. But that's almost been a hard reality for some to wake up to and accept that, what, we can't play like that here anymore? No. But we've been doing it for so long. Yeah, I know. We're not doing that to each other anymore. Okay. So, the whore of Babylon, all these other big bad entities that you thought were still running this thing, in my esteem, have already, in a way, given up like me. Game over. We said, boom, you know, we're going home now. And so we're sharing the call with the rest of you. Yeah, all those big bad powers that want to be that were at the so-called top of the control pyramid, yeah, game up. They've given up also.
It's recess. Let's all go outside and play now.
Yeah. With kindness. With kindness. School is out. No recess. School is out. Hey, man, I walked into an underschooled location the other day. First words out of my mouth were, as I walked into the so-called office, what did I announce? It was two lovely ladies there. But I announced before so-called school even started, I opened the door and I went, what was the words? Well, I know what the effect was. And to me, I was like, I'm having this little dialogue with it. And they laughed. But here was my cause. I walked in the door like I was saying goodbye. Like the school day was done. So I opened up to the office. Instead of, aloha, good morning, it was aloha, I'll see you next time. And the day
on the other side.
So I do this, and the kids are like, the bell rings for school. I'm heading out the door. They're like, where are you going, Mr. D? I'm like, school's finished, man. School is out, done. And they're like, oh, that's the first bell. Freak that, man. It's done. No, Mr. D, you just started. Nah, man, let's go outside, fly up to the mountain. Yeah, we want to do that. Yes. This is my action.
I'm loving it.
And so I'm having to laugh. You thank you, man.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I put live that intent. I'm not making this up. No, I walked that.
Absolutely.
Just the other day.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, I need some more shining in there. I need to shine in that paradigm. See, I'm not just shining in my neighborhood here. I'm shining in the whole paradigm. That's every classroom.
Yes.
Because I say, before the Mr. E, there was Mr. D. That is me. we are here too. I didn't come necessarily before the mystery, in a way, that's a time thing, but man, we talk about the great mystery. And when you can tune into what some would call Mother Nature, the great mystery, the divine feminine that resonates in all of us. And this remembrance, this beyond remembrance, this reminder, this actual living. So it's becoming not even a memory, guys, because it's becoming a living actuality. These things that we're being reminded of, we're actually now living them. They're becoming part of our way. I'm going to say they're in our way. They're with our way, our path, our life. And this is really what is here now, true living. And this is
remembering those things.
Yeah, and we're remembering that, and now we're recognizing how we're doing that in our days, and how we're going to be doing that more and more. And then the more we do it, what I'm sharing with you is all the old structures will fade from view. What does that mean? That means, what is an old structure to me? And we could maybe use some other words, but anything related to economics, business, politics, governments, separation, anything in terms of that, that's what I'm talking, an old structure.
Yeah.
That deep belief of the separation, that belief of master-slave, authority, superior, inferior, that. And we can get into detail on it. It's not necessary, because that's where people get confused instead of just remember it on a really simple level. And this simple is sophisticated. And it's a sophistication that you understand clearly when you tune into it. And you realize, wow, this simplicity explains all of that. And you're like, how? Because when you see it from here, you're not confused by all the things that were trying to express this. Tune right into the heart of it, and you see all of it. And this is here.
Yeah, beautiful.
So something I tuned in recently. Somebody said Arthur Anderson and his, was that you, Michael?
You mean Arthur Christian?
Arthur Christian, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have now gone into there, and I'm like, wow.
Absolutely.
And is it Fiona?
Yes.
These guys are not lacking in terms of sharing a wealth of information and some, for me, baseline realities to tune into. Because
said it better myself.
Because there's a lot, and the one that came to me is because we were talking. It's Gaia Sophia dreaming here.
Yep.
The concave Earth.
Oh yeah.
Like, how did this not come to my awareness, or it's been blocked from my awareness, however which way, or I just hadn't, in a way, tuned in or prepared my mind to accept. And now I've kind of prepared my mind to not just blow it out of the water, just to be able to accept, to look at it and go, okay, what is this? What is this sharing here? And so I could accept, like, to look at something in neutrality, So I'm looking at it in a neutral perspective, and I'm sharing with you right now. It is resonating with me, Michael, and all. Okay, mics are open. So that's ready. Okay, Barbara, I think that's your mic. I know you're on the phone. So lines are open. Let me do a quick shout out, and we'll go back into what we were just tuning in with. 347-326-9530. Critical Mass Radio, Blog Talk. You can Skype in, find your way in. If you really, you're hearing this message and you're wanting to find a way to tune in clearer, ask one of us, send a message somehow. If you're having any problems tuning in with the heart or any so-called difficulties or distortion, let us know. Otherwise, this is what it is. Sometimes there's some old fear. It's like tuning your computer on in the morning, and sometimes it's just slow. And then you're trying to open up a page or whatever, like trying to get to the show table on time in a way. It's like, da-da-da-da, and things are like getting in the way in a way. It's not happening as fast or as clear as you like, and sometimes then we get fearful. And that's kind of like our remembering of tuning into the heart. And tuning into this love, it can get fearful in a way, and that's, take a brief breath, and we're dispelling that old fear. It's an old fear.
Exactly. Aloha.
Aloha.
Hi, Alvita.
Hi. I'm enjoying listening to you guys talk. I'm like, oh, it sounds so good. Sounds so good. I just wanted to share that I had a dream yesterday morning just before I woke up. I was riding on my magic carpet. Kate has a calf. I have a magic carpet. So I find myself over Rome in that, I'll call it the devil's pit. And I'm just floating around, and I had my husband on the ride with me. So, and I was just telling him about, the things that we know that he don't understand. But I'm like, this is where everything started. And so next thing I know, I seen these protesters, and they had their own little tanks, and they were starting to destroy the buildings and stuff. And, I was like, wow. So all of a sudden I kind of woke up, and I was telling my husband about the dream. So I said, I bet you any amount of money, if you go in there and turn that TV on, you're going to hear something about Rome. And so they were talking about two popes, whatever they were doing yesterday. And then later on, when y'all were doing the show last night, I came across this story about the anti-government protesters seized television station in eastern Ukraine called for their own channel. And then I'm looking right now at the time that it came in was at 15:52, my number. I was like, wow. That was my excitement for yesterday. But I'm like, wow. It's really happening. It's coming to an end. It's how I see it. Yeah.
Alvita, you had mentioned that 52 on another call, and I had mentioned that I was born in 52. I didn't tell anybody at that time. My birth date is 9/11/52.
Wow. Yes, and my husband is 50. He was born in 52 also. I said, oh, wow, that number. No getting away from that one. That's my guidepost. I get all my downloads and everything. Time I see 52.
So when we look at the way things are presented on the news, like if we want to talk about any of these countries, or remember we're moving. Earth doesn't have borders, right? Just new consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. What we've been describing, living in the heart. There is no borders. There's no countries. There's no flag. No separation like that. So if we're still thinking, and this goes out to a lot of guys out there. I see your posts on Facebook and other places, and I'm like, you still think like that? What the fuck, man? Seriously, if you sat and smoked with me, I would tell you straight up.
Thank you.
Now, I'd give you the choice. I'd say, I'm not going to beat you up over it, but I'm going to at least show you, like, Last time I checked, why you believe in that crap? Because in my heart, we know this.
Right. I know, and it just pains us to see them, so ignorant, I know they can't help it, but just want to slap them.
Didn't you blame the government? Didn't you blame the aliens? Didn't you blame the masses? Didn't you blame whoever? Didn't you blame yourself? Well, fine, maybe you start blaming yourself, you wake up and go, I love myself. You'll hate yourself enough that you love yourself.
There you go.
I mean, if you have to, that's what's going to end up happening. We've seen it. It doesn't mean bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I finally got that. Kate shares that. And finally, I was looking at that, and I had it. I said it to myself, and I recognized it. And it wasn't. And it wasn't an external thing. It was, again, how I do this with me. How am I doing this with me? And something cleared in me. And I was just like, whew, right. I want to remember this. Do I need to do this again? Do I need to do this again? All is flowing. Love and harmony. Kahi, unity, balance, wholeness.
Yeah. It's becoming so crystal clear.
Barbara's mic here. Hey, Barbara. Aloha.
I'm in traffic. It's real busy. That's why I have to be on mute.
I figured it out.
I'm in traffic. It's real busy.
Well, we love you. I had to remember that she shared with us that she's driving.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Hey, got to share, Michael, while you were talking a while ago about the. You mentioned something about flying. I can't remember exactly what you said, but last night in that movie, I love to fly. I would go up in anything, anytime, anywhere. No strings attached. I mean, I'll go. If you're going to be in the air, and I got an opportunity to go along, I'm going with you. But so I love to fly, and my wife knows that. Well, in the movie that we were watching last night, there was one of the characters had a wing suit that had wings that flapped, evidently, and then he had some kind of a jet propulsion with it. And it was, and she leaned over to me in the movie, which she normally doesn't talk at him, but she said, "And I bet you'd love that, wouldn't you?" And I said to her, "You know what? I really would, but you know what the beauty of it to me is there's what I'm seeing is that I'll be able to do even greater than that. I see that's what we're becoming awake to, the things that Anastasia was able to do, and the people that talk about out-of-body experiences or astral projection or whatever, where you can, pretty much go wherever you want, whenever you want, and in some cases take your body along. So it's like that to me, doing it that natural way instead of with the technology and with fuel is so much more powerful. It's like it's beautiful to see it and to watch it and to think about it. And I love that sense of flying and being experiencing it through him on the screen. But I'm thinking about meantime what I'm heading towards is even greater than that. And it's like that's the beauty and the power of it.
Right, you won't need a cape.
Exactly. What's coming?
Need no damn cape.
The more we accept these truths, or let's not put these, accept truth and love, like really accept it. We're no longer denying it, even if that can't be true, Mike. Maybe it is. Can you look at it and then if it resonates with you, accept it, and see the result. You know, you're gonna get a result after this, and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying that these movies are really telling a lot of truth, because last night I watched It Man. Anybody familiar with It Man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that dude. But, you know, just listen to, well, they don't talk. You know, you have to read the lines, but then they don't have to do too much talking anyway. But I could just feel the power that they willed, you know, to do what they do, the techniques and everything, and how into it, like they just become one with the technique. And oh man, that just is so powerful when you look at how deep it is, you know. It's a mind thing, and it's like, wow. Gave me some enlightenment too. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's natural. It's what I call it, harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to Gaia Sophia Dreaming, and on Skype you might find me. It's harmony of being. And this came to me a long time ago. Mike, it's all about the harmony of being. So I've had this email address since, I don't know, back in the 90s or early 2000s, over 10 years, and I was like, and I'd people like harmony of being, and my friends would make fun of me and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, guys, at a simple level, it's a reminder for me that that's really, you can remember this, Mike, you're going to be okay. And
yeah.
And this is what we're tuning in with. This harmony of being. When we do this, what I was getting at earlier, we start truly living. And what we have been in that moment, and why these old structures are gonna disappear. And my feeling is not in years. My feeling is, if it ain't here now in my vision of actuality, with my vision of reality, and it isn't in my intent to see that old economic system that I grew up with here in this world, and that it's the one that I have shared, where everything's free, everything is given naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, that's a system. Oh, you better believe it. You better know it, because that's the one. Huh? You don't have to believe it. You got to know it, because that's the natural, organic flow of how things really are. That is what is. That's the actuality. And that overlay of the economic monopoly, money game system we played is no longer going to be tolerated. How do I say this? It's expired. It's done. It's finished. And if you're attached to that game, you might go back in the box with it. You can come out whenever you want, but you're going back in the box with it to play it. It's no longer being lived out. It's no longer being lived out here in our world, in our reality, in the true actuality. That's no longer being lived out. And this is where I'm really bringing in to start envisioning the world, using your imagination, using your heart to see like this. You might go, Mike, what do you mean see? What we're doing here is we are, in a way, clearing the mirror. Just imagine you have clouds blocking you accepting what is. And you have to, get a rag or whatever and wipe the clouds away. And there it is, clear as. That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a little more fear here, clear that one. And when you see what was all attached to that fear behind it, and we're clearing this fear here, and you see all the story and dramas attached behind it that go with it. And this is a beautiful, beautiful world we live in again.
Mm-hmm.
That fictional overlay that you thought was kind of permanent in your life is no more than a fog on your mirror.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you said it well, and you made me think of you talked about the flow there, and the picture I have is something that the way I got this was from a preacher actually, but it was a beautiful, beautiful picture because he didn't use any words, but he showed me something, and I learned a principle out of that I never forgot. He stood on the stage in front of, I think there was 5,000 people in the room at that time, and he raised his arms up and out, and then he acted like he received a load of something. And then he, carrying that load, he knelt down on the stage, and he looked out at all the people, and then he spread his arms out. And then he got back up, and he did it again. And he did this for at least 5 minutes without saying a word, over and over again. And I never forgot that. And the lesson that he was showing is it is about the flow and the giving, being that vessel where the energy and the love is coming to you and you're letting it out. And the beautiful thing about it is when the ego gets involved, or when we, give place to that, I don't even like to use that word, but when we, to me, what my definition has been for ego is attachment to things, thinking we own it, or that we need to hang on to it, or that we're missing something and we're looking for it. Those things that would, but what ego does is when we grab onto something, when we try to hold any of that blessing or money or you name it that's coming, even the love, when we try to hang on to love, thinking that there won't be enough to go around, or that I got to get my share, or I need it from this person, or any of those things. But when we hang on to that, what we have done is we block up the pipe, and that flow is no longer flowing. No wonder we're believing all the dead things. No wonder we're accepting all the lies. No wonder we're wandering around, those that aren't awake, and even some of us that are awake, still hanging on to this or that and the other. It's like we've got the pipe blocked up, and when we let go, wow, as you pointed out, Michael, that flow of the harmony of being and one with all. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go and let it flow.
So what I'm tuning in with is that this is for all of us here. I'm just not talking. If you want to talk, there's more than man, woman, human beings, and we can go to the trees. If you want to talk about anything else that is here in this sphere, and I don't want to call it sphere, inside this being we're with. There's a whole lot of living to be lived, to be had, to be done. There's a whole lot of living to do. That's what I'm getting at. There's so much living to do here for us. Our days will be completely full with living. We have no time to do anything else. Hear this clear. Our days are getting more and more. They are right now full. They're getting more fuller, and they're going to be completely full, if we can, it's already full, you know what I'm saying? But that's how much living, true living we're doing, that is here for us. We will have no more time to play the old game anymore, and I'll call it that. There'll be no more time to tune into the old system. Anyways, you can't. There'll be no more time to play with your false identity, the ego out of line. There'll be no more time to do that. And when you realize that, Mike, but what does that change the world? When you're truly living, guess what? When we truly are living, there's no such thing as business, money. It's. I'm not going to say it's the opposite, because it isn't. One's a polarized game we played with ourselves. We truly come in ourselves. We transcend that duality.
Here, here.
And so what is really clear for me is we've been what we thought was our world and how we lived through money and businesses and exchanging goods and services in those ways, through those means, that way of doing things is a complete thing of the past.
It wasn't really living, was it?
No. Even when you so-called gave something in that system, it had a very limiting effect still, because it was in that old thing still. You had a feeling from it that felt way better, but it was still in that old paradigm. Well, we had enough of those experiences that, it's like you just kept putting a penny in the piggy bank, that they added up, and it got clearer and clearer and clearer, like, oh, fuck yeah. And so we see this now quite clearly, that one cannot exist in the world any longer. And that means whatever part of each and every one of us has to wake up to this truth, they will do it. We are doing it. And with that, no more wars, no more separation, no more fighting, no more money, no more hate, no more self-flagellation, no more false ID, no more, bullshit. So this is where we're at. I'm really bringing it on a simple level, and to describe what we generally thought was our life, which to me has all those, if I want to term it, negative connotations. And those are no longer here when we're truly living. When we're truly living and you're not playing a separation game, you won't laugh at another, because I even feel it on that level. Mike, how, when we're truly resonating with the heart and living it, we're here, because there's no joke on another person to cause hurtful feeling, where I'm laughing at you, the joke's on you. And man, we do this in some subtle ways sometimes, and we do it to ourselves, and that's the ultimate joke in a way. And even on that way, we won't do it. It's like the saying that love hurts. It's almost oxymoronic that how could love hurt, but the way we have seen with religion, how in the name of God or law we people get killed. So I'm like, wait, that doesn't equate, doesn't make sense. And so like this, we bring it here to the self, and we recognize the same thing. And with that, power of your natural co-creative imagination to share with all, you can tune in and see this shared dream we all have with each other in the heart, with love. This is why I'm coming. This is where you come from. This is the pure flow. And when you create with this intent, the whole world changes in an instant. Like truly. Like you will look at anything that is here that was showing you a separation game and a whole new light and a whole new way. Money, you will see it as we've been describing it. All these old buildings that we used to go into you will no longer see them in that way.
Absolutely.
Because those institutions will no longer exist. Because they will no longer be in our minds. They definitely are in our hearts. They're definitely not in our hearts, and they no longer will be in our minds. And
yeah. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Hello.
I really resonating. That's so beautiful sharing, you guys. I love it. Just wanted to jump in and say that. Keep going. I love it, love it, love it.
So we will no longer relate with one another like that anymore.
Yes.
Why do we use these institutions? Well, I don't need to relate to that institution, company, corporation, dead fictional reality to be with each other anymore. Why would I? What are you going to tell me that you got to hide behind all that shit for? That dead shit, to be more exact. That.
Yeah.
Could we say life is for the living? Let the dead wake up, or carry out the dead.
Yep.
You nailed it, Mike. When we stop giving our energy, thought, power, purchasing, whatever, to these dead corporate entities, businesses, structures, governments, education, all these systems that are dead, that have no life, that aren't living, when we stop giving our living energy to them, they will not be able to stand. They will crumble and fall because it's the living energy that living man gives them that allows them to exist. And that's what these great images have been built for, was to draw our attention and get us away from the fact that we're living creator and that we have the power.
Michael, exactly. And it's a figment of our imagination.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I've been told the other way much through times, Michael, that's a figment of your imagination. I'm like, well, maybe it is, but that's the world I want to see. And now I see the world and now I'm looking at what I truly see as the figment of the imagination, which were the lies, the separation, the bullshit, which was those institutions that we just were sharing. I'm like, that's the figment of our imagination. That is, bye-bye. It will disappear like that.
Baby.
Just like a figment of our imagination, because that's what it is. Mike, you're telling me all those governments and the way that's a figment of your imagination. How can that be? If it's so real, Michael, it's a figment of your imagination. You know how? Because when you reel it back in, you reel that sucker back in, and you come back, you realize that was built on that idea, that figment of our imagination, and we blew it up to this. And I'm like, wow. We brought it back down, and it's only a figment of our imagination. It goes just like that. Like the whole business world. Yeah, whatever way you want to look at that. Whatever you didn't resonate with your heart. Man, we got a lot of beings here. There's a lot of examples. I'm sharing a few from my perspective. There's so many. We just, whatever was causing distortion in your life. It's leaving.
Yeah. Goodbye.
And it's just like, so all you truth seekers, New Agers, you really want to get with it? You really want to get with it? Please tune in here, because what's sharing here with the Emerald Table, Gaia Sophia dreaming, and the heart. This is the true mystical, magical imagination of how we tune into what is. And look, you know how George commented, I'll give another picture. George Kavaslis has on his Our Journey Home. He's got the image of Gaia. She's pregnant, and where the world's inside there, and we're going through the birth canal, and we're birthing into a new world or a new level of consciousness. And George shares it in many different ways. And I'm like, yep. Beautiful imagination, George. Beautiful way you even got it illustrated. I'm right with you there, brother. And now, and I'm sharing with you even clearer. Those 3 scenarios you said that might get played out, they still might, George, but they haven't yet, and look where we're at. That's all the imagination, and we can clear those in an instant. We don't necessarily need those for experience. If they have to be played out, yeah, like the movies we've been seeing, hour and a half. Yeah, what? I need to go for a year of playing the Alien story? I've fucking been watching the movies for my whole life. Shit, Star Wars came out as a kid. What other movie? We've already lived it. We're getting to true living. And if it ain't bullshit from another, man, we can, like I said, that's figment of our imaginations too, that so-called hasn't yet come, but maybe we need to go through it. Well, if we need to go through one of those so-called scenarios, for me it's going to be like I said, it will be the matinee, Alvita. Go to a matinee, here comes Jesus. Go to the matinee, here comes Sananda, the other version with Ashtar. And then, before that we had the pre-matinee, the early one they sometimes have. And in that one, they gave us all a bunch of money and new, so-called new technology. And went, look, you're kind of free. And we thought that, but since we had all the money we needed, it didn't last long. And that was only the cartoon before the matinee. So this is, to me, George, that's one day, brother. That's one day. That's not even one day. That's from like 10 to 4. It's not fucking with my sunrise, my so-called, I don't even want to call it sunrise and sunset. It ain't messing with my, dude, that's going to be such a friggin' funny movie we're going to watch, dude. We're going to be laughing all this. Whoa, we're going to be living it and laughing.
Yep.
It's going to be the 3D movie of the friggin' all time in space. And it's coming now to a reality in you. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Look.
done.
That's done.
Mm-hmm. I'm so laughing now. I can't even stop laughing no more because it's just so stupid now. When you can see everything, it's just like, oh my God, like y'all really believe in this stuff now? Oh gosh, yeah. I think it's time for me to get real serious and wake them up. Like they said, you might hate me.
How we wake them up is by remembering that vision we have of a true world. The more we can go, everyone's already is awake. I'm connected to your heart. You're listening to yourself. You're realizing that whole whatever business scam thingamajiggy was a figment of our imagination, and we truly live in a world with no money, no fear, no harm, harmony, wholeness, love, kindness, and that. Just have that reminder. Put that intent in there, out there, everywhere. It's like, I don't have to tell anyone. Really, all my words after that are kind of extra. If I don't remember this base, we're not quite getting it. We're trying to tune them in, but how do you tune out the static, the distortion that is in, say, people's ears, is by remembering this world we truly live in. Then they cannot deny themselves the truth. You don't have to say anything. This is what I'm getting at. You don't have to say anything to anybody after if we do this one first. And I've been kind of beating this drum, boom, boom, for many moons. Since I was in my 20s, and I'm in my 40s now. And I've always come back to this. So come back to the earth. Come back to the heart. It's like, yes, this. And I'm sharing it strong again. And I'm like, this is it. This is the way it is.
Time to ramp it up.
I do not want it to be heart-wrenching for you. But it might be. Mike, will that cause me pain? No more than you are suffering already. And, well, no more afterwards.
Right, exactly. They have no idea how much suffering they're going through. You know, when they hear the truth, they think it's, you know, you hurting their feelings, but we know it's just the ego. But, you know, you're really living a really awful life right now because you have no clue where you are, who you are, what the hell is going on. You know? But, you know, I try to tell them life.
Yeah, look how Kate puts it. When you really get it, it's like you say, wow.
Yeah.
What's going on? I can't. It's like, holy cow! Like last night on the show, they were talking about the experiences, and they said everybody that come back from the DMT experience, like, wow, what was that? It's like, but right. I mean, I'm not advocating that, but I'm saying the you know, that's what it's like when you get that, and when you know, let go and participate in it. It's like you know, all the pain dissolves away. It's like, I mean, the pain is the letting go of the other belief systems, of the other things that you've been hanging on to. They've been what's causing you the pain. That holding on with that tight, closed fist. You know, like the monkey that can't get his hand out of the jar. It's like,
yeah.
And
yeah,
by the way,
I didn't call it heart-wrenching for nothing.
Yes,
it's like you got a wrench on there, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to give it a... You're going to have... your own love is going to do this. Just like you can't, it's just like, you can't do this so-called Groundhog Day forever, where you keep beating yourself up. Don't. It's finally going to be like, all right, right back into place. Just like this wobble of the earth that we experience. This is going to be the same. So this is what's happening. And as it's been described as birthing a new world, going through the birth canal, all these pressures, this is like the wobble. You can look at it from this perspective also. It's all coming into tune. It's all lining up out of that so-called tilt wobble into balance. And we know that, into that wholeness and balance, well, here we are. Again, there's no dimension over there. There's no somebody else hiding over there. You know? And what does that mean even clearer? And sometimes, again, I'm framing it in the negative here. The world that you thought was real is no longer. And what actually is what's here. And it's lovely, it's simple. The fear of how will I feed myself, clothe myself, put a roof over my head, those are givens to me. Those are easy. We as beings of love create, and well, for one, we're given everything. We assist nature in a way to produce things for us, but without her, well, we ain't creating anything. But I put the seed in the ground. Yeah, what, the ground? That's you. Unless you still think it's separation. That's you? No? yeah, but I grew it. With who? With nature. Was she a rock, a dead entity? No. What part of shared you don't get? But she gave you the ground to grow in. Whatever you thought you were putting in your mouth to live on. I don't give a shit what it is. Ice cream, chicken, lettuce, waffles, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You weren't replicating it on your Starship Enterprise. But in a way, that's what's happening. Because she is giving life to that for you to ingest. But even that she's sharing with us. You don't need that to live. You're already interconnected. You don't have to take anything in, actually. I'm still doing it. And here I am getting...
You hit the nail on the head, Mike.
Pretty straight, and I'm still doing it. But I know that it's not necessary. Exactly. I know I'm not lacking from it.
Exactly.
And so in this giving that we're recognizing the being we live with, if everyone is waking up to this truth, this is what Max Egan, this is what Kate of Gaia, this is what many beautiful beings are sharing with us, the world will change in an instant.
Yes, plus one.
And it's that because you will no longer be thinking in a way to create or reacting even in a way to create these old figments of our imagination that caused separateness and harm and externalization of self. And with that, you come into a unity with all, that all is self. And I'm like, I don't want to put a countdown on something, but it's pretty much like that to me. I'm like, how much longer can we play this game? Well, look, it's done. It's dead, huh? Mike, but look at it over here. Look at it here. Well, we're getting examples changing and things they don't even show you. They're still trying to present it as a fear. They. I don't want to say they. They're still presenting. It's still getting presented in a fear type of way because there's still some fear for some of us that needs to be dispelled, to be released. And how can we help other points of our consciousness, beings on here with us, who are us, to realize this is really to just hold on, hold hold on to the true imaginations we're tuning into here about how you see the world and this love and harmony, and how there's no separation. Everyone is living in. See, again, I'm sharing my words in a way. They're not just my words, but my description. But I want us to put your own, because there's each unique part of yours. This is coming from your heart also, to share that how you see everyone living in harmony with each other, and that's where we don't see, oh, this person's got to wake up, or that person, or this group of people. We don't look at each other or ourselves like that. So when we're saying this for everyone, we're saying this for me first, for sure. Otherwise, I'd be a donkey. A donkey, though. Putting down a donkey.
I'll be the chestnut tree.
I'm being an ass, more like it. Only half.
Who was it that said I'd rather be an asshole than a whole ass?
Yeah, that was
right on.
So yeah, this is it. This laughter. It's like, Mike, how do you see the world? Laughing. Really? Yeah, laughing at with the heart. It's just like, imagine a world like that. Give your intent into that. Give your power. Give your things. That's what you see. And guess what? In this land of make-believe, because really, look at all those robes and stories and so-called rich histories of the world before we came here this time, so-called, because I can't remember my past life, so I don't know if they were even blowing smoke up my ass there. What transpired before we remembered. In our remembering, we know what we're waking up to, and that's truly living.
That's
with each other's, with ourselves, with me, with you, with in this oneness. And we mean oneness. This means this interconnected love with the heart we all share. That's one.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So we have about a minute left in the Gaia Sophia Dreaming.
Hey, thank you to Alvita for joining in, and for Janet. I heard her beautiful laugh there, and her
appreciation. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Beautiful sharing. Yep, good frequency. I love it. You're all so great and beautiful. Love all.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes. Aloha.
Aloha. So grateful.
So it is my intent.
Hold that light.
It is my intent to live in a world. We used to say peace, love, and harmony. And I like to say wholeness, love, and laughter. And then I'll add these other words in. There's so many.
There you go.
There's so many now that resonate clearer. So much aloha to all who tuned in.
Much love.
Yeah, much love.
Much love, everyone.
Much love, yeah.
So we're into the rollover. Just remembering, thank you all. Thank you, Critical Mass. Thank you. Get the app on the iPhone. Man, it's kind of hard for me. Please, as you get the Monopoly money, share it where you feel it can really flow with the heart, in love, in Lakesh.
Hey, can I ask everyone to participate with me? I mean, not that nothing has to be done. Just have, just your thoughts or your knowing, your thinking, whatever. Tomorrow, plan to go in the morning and share some of Kate's writings with the clerk of the circuit court here. I'm up on these charges from refusing to give the name, and I'm going to have some fun. So
right.
I want you all to come and have some fun with me, and
Michael.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how what kind of fun or what kind of results I get out of that, and I'm expecting that it will be as it should be, and everything will be the way it's supposed to be. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
All right, sending that magnetic electric energy their way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you for doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it was part of my test, and I got to go a little further than some, and I think I brought that on myself. I shared a little bit about it before, but it's all good, and it's like this is what I have right now, and this is what I get to go do. I get to go have some fun, and I'm kind of looking forward to.
Like, here's the beauty, and this is what, and here you're sharing one example of how the dead fictional reality is still here, and I'm still somehow interacting with it still. Well, I can change the way I approach it, so to say, which is with laughter and love. Remember my pure intent, and let's see what's gonna come about now. Right? Because you're not. There's no fear. That's what I'm getting at. Exactly. It's fearless. You're walking
a beautiful opportunity.
So it's just like, wow. And so this is what I was saying, that I'm like, any moment this could change for me. Because I'm like, even walking to the shop here and using money, I'm like, it's still here.
Just laugh, right? Like, oh, boy, here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah, haven't gone away yet.
As simple as that, as true as that. Yes, this is how I'm looking at it. Because it's we won't believe in that bullshit, and we won't even act like it. It'd be like you'd walk there, and the people who are still here, and I have a feeling it's going to be most of us, all of us, we won't be playing that game. It'd be like, hey, wow, what's happening? It'd be like truly your family store. And it would be your family store house, right? It won't be a business anymore. You'll have family storehouses where if we still want to consume this junk that most of it was,
bullshit.
We can. And, we'll have a latrine dug over there so you can shit it back out. Because it ain't giving you the thrust anymore to fly. And you're going to probably stop eating the Twinkies and the Cheetos and the hot dogs and the nachos and the... Because it's no longer the fuel that serves us. I mean, Seven's been getting really clear with this, with all of us, Astral Quest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so when we realize we're living in, love and harmony with ourselves again, each other, well, quite naturally, that's what we'll be doing also. That's what we'll see. Yeah, there'll be temporary storehouses, temporary family storehouses, for whoever wants to still eat that junk.
Yeah,
it's all
they're
junk.
weaning off. Yeah.
And then we won't be making it anymore. And I'll be like, yeah, most of business will disappear. Well, it's going to be gone anyways, like I said. But in terms of even producing things in a mass way that we think we need, oh man, that's going to so rapidly fade from our consciousness. That feeling, because that lack and limitation is gone.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm like, guys, do you realize that with that lack and limitation gone, there's no more business. Just like that. No more dead entity corporations. Or a live one, whatever the fuck. None of those. Gone. Done. It's finished. It's as easy as that with me.
Yep.
Yep, just a thought.
Hey, Mike, you with your example there and the unschooling, where you're infecting the system from the inside out with your love and your light and your, and I don't mean to use those New Age terms, but I mean that beauty that you have of spirit, and bringing that light to that dark system and changing it from the inside out. They don't even know they're infected. It's like, and
beautiful.
That's what I'm looking at. This as an opportunity. They've invited me to court. I know I don't have to go, but I'm going to go serve them some of Kate's writings and give them some papers. Let them chew on this, and that'll bring a little bit of that virus into the system in this area where I'm at. And like Kate says so often, if just one person reads it, even if they don't read it, the intention is there. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing. You just put it in there. It's like it doesn't. It's in there by the intention, let alone whether anybody ever reads it or not. Exactly.
So this is what I'm getting. So when I open the door to the so-called school, what I'm opening it to is this is the imagination. This is the imagination that's been shared with me. I'm opening the door to the box that we are all somehow in, that we call the system the Matrix. Because where I am here, thankfully, I'm outside of it. The ground I walk in, we are completely outside of the system. And I describe this, and we describe this with other friends here, that we have this remembrance. And some of the people living here in my neighborhood, they're still in that box. Believe me. Because, believe me, they're stuck in a belief. As some aspects of me are in that old belief also. And I'm waking that up also. So here I am. I'm walking on, if you can imagine it, free earth. Ding, 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 ding. There's the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's the box. There's the box. There's the Matrix. You know what I mean? Most people are like, it's all around me. It's all surrounding me. I'm like, no, not in my world. Really, I got 2,000 miles of ocean around me. All right, if you want to get physical with it, then I can take it on different levels. Physical, dimensional, spiritual. I can share it. I'm seeing it. We're multidimensional beings. Let's have fun. And so I'm walking on free earth.
Time to play.
I'm walking there.
Like Michael said, recess time.
Ocean on my left. No, we're beyond recess now. School's out forever. Think about this Cooper, man. Yeah, 5 o'clock. He's on here every day almost. Hey, is he over there on Maui or Arizona? I don't know. Brother could tune in. So I'm thankful. I catch him here, man. It's cool. And so on my right is mountain, waterfall. I'm like immediately on my right. And then there on my left, 100 meters on my left is the ocean. And I see Maui and the colors changing. And I'm walking through 2 houses, and then I'm going through a path, and it's green, and I'm seeing this, and like I said, Mike's walking on the free earth, ding, 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 walking up to this building that's been a bunch of different stuff. But all of a sudden, it's a portal for me to open into the system, into the Matrix. I open the door, I see 2 lovely beings who are from here and live here, and for me, they're sitting there to shine light, so I don't get when I come, I can be my happy, loving self, joyous self. You know what I mean? So they're already there in a way positioned for me to be able to come in the door, open the box. You get this? They're sitting there already shining the light for me to come and shine. I'm like really thankful. I recognize that. They're not sitting there trapped in the box. These 2 lovely ladies smiling at me, laughing. And so I open the door to the system, to the Matrix, to whatever you want to call it. And what do I call out? I turn the whole thing inside out and backwards again with my pure intent and love in words. and I say aloha, and I close the door and I start walking away. There is laughter from the inside. There is laughter. They know I'm going home. They know I've gone already, and I said I'm going home. See you later. Yeah, they're laughing. I'm going down the stairs, and I'm sharing this. And so then I go back up because I have a responsibility, and I open the door, and they're laughing. I'm laughing. This is beautiful. I know that's just been shared throughout the friggin' fractal universe, all of our paradigms where we play that game of the whole one, not just the school I just walked into. I put that into the whole. And how did I do that? I shared here. Nature said, hey, check this out. Go over there. Ding, ding, boom, boom, boom. I walk over there. Look at this portal you can open up. This door. I'm sitting outside right now. The door is only, if I want to talk in terms of this spatial distance, 500-600 meters, 1,000 yards, whatever you want to call it. Just over there. Literally, I don't even want to put it that close. Walking distance, and that's even kind of a stupid thing to say because there's no distance. It's just over there. It's just over here. That the system is like, Mike, you can blow your pure intent right into here through this. And it's going everywhere. I'm like, thank you so much for being able to share this with you. And the system matrix is like, yeah, man, what a fucking relief. These people are just fucking some boring shit they keep living. You see this crap they keep blaming on me again? Yeah, I know. Playing with these old beliefs. I'm done with those beliefs. Fuck, man, I'm an advanced fucking intelligence also. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I got to share a little more love into there. Yeah, okay. People, I love you. Stop playing those old games thinking they're real. I didn't say you might not act them out, but stop thinking they're real and that's what is here for us until I retire and grow old and die or whatever. What the fuck? And so, yeah, sometimes I'm thinking, I really, I've seen some stuff recently where I was like, wow, people are doing that. Ooh, Michael, they're showing me people doing all sorts of stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, kind of cringing in some ways. I'm like, yeah, but that's still not tuning me out where I'm thinking everyone's that messed up. I'm like, wow, we do some weird stuff.
Yeah. We are the ones we've been waiting for. You are the one I've been waiting for. I am the one I've been waiting for.
And so when we realize that we have that, okay, I'll use the word power to change the world like that, and that you can share that vision, that dream with everyone, go, hey, have this dream of the world, and then see what happens. Don't have the dream of the world that we're stuck in the shit. Oh, it's going to be like this. It's never going to change, Michael. Yeah, well, guess what? It might not for you if you keep attached to that thought, and I'm going to wave goodbye to you because you're going on a magic carpet ride somewhere else, man. Not where I'm living anymore. Not where I am living anymore. That's as simple as that.
I have a dream.
Yeah.
The more we tune into this dream of actuality, the true reality of what living is, all that old bullshit we bought into goes away, disappears. You don't have to fight it at all. It just disappears. Just like I was sharing in the beginning here, the fear comes up to be, in a way, released. Fear is the shadow is coming up to disappear. That's it. And I don't mean disappear, to dissipate, to dissolve back into the oneness that it is. It's energy in a way, and it's dissolving back into the field of love. There's no more separation, so quite naturally, this shadow that you have in yourself, the separation that you thought within you, that we played with outside in this game of authority and duality and separation, it's just disappearing. That shadow inside and outside, quite naturally, this fear and the fear attached to it is quite naturally coming to the surface to disappear, dissipate, dissolve in truth and love and harmony. And open your heart, it's already here. Tune into your heart, it's already open.
Only hearts like ours remain.
Yeah. Yes.
Go.
There's a whole lot of living to do.
Yes.
With that, aloha. Tune in, Emerald Table, about, well, later in the day. Soon.
Yeah.
Much love.
Thank
Much
you.
love. Thank you. Yeah, grateful. Beautiful.
Yes.